Now,
you're right. We find out how big business and Labor and all the other advocates, they've been mugged by reality and they're forced to confront reality, which is that wind and solar can't get the job done.
But I mean, there's a zealotry about this, isn't it? The way they go about it. Just utter these edicts like Matt Keane in New South Wales. I mean, your research fellow at the Institute of Public Affairs, Dr. Kevin Yu, has said at the end of the day, our leaders can't escape the immutable fact that if you're counting on renewables, then you're counting on blackouts and explosive power price hikes. That's the guts of it, Daniel.
It is the guts of it. And look, there's another important dimension to this debate, which is, okay, we've got all these costs associated with net zero and renewable policy, but what about the benefits? Remember, we're told that this is going to save the planet. We're going to cut our emissions, and we're going to transform the nation's temperature and climate. But the important thing to remember is that every 16 days, China emits more carbon than Australia does in one entire year. So the reality is that we're getting all of these significant economic and humanitarian costs from the policy of net zero, but without any discernible environmental benefit. And that's the other key part of this. And that you mentioned Matt Keane and the other zealots of the climate movement. They will not acknowledge that simple reality that what Australia does makes no noticeable difference.
None whatever.
China,
whatever.
Yeah, and the US.
Well, are people waking up? The comments by Innes Willocks, the chief executive of AI, the AI Group, it's a leading industry organisation representing businesses in a broad range of sectors. Wasn't he an enthusiastic proponent of net zero? But he's now saying only coal and gas can provide salvation from the current crisis. I mean, is it too much to think that even if it's only privately, big business, Labor and the union super funds might eventually be mugged by reality and wake up to what some of us have known for years, that net zero is wreaking havoc on our energy system?
Well, it is wreaking havoc, and I think you're 100% right there. The big business, the titans of industry that have been the loudest voices in favour of net zero, because don't forget, many of these big businesses benefit from the massive subsidies to renewables. Correct. And the banks, they benefit from these carbon market trading schemes. They're making money hand over fist at the expense of working class and lower middle income Australians. That is the effect of these renewable policies. It doesn't save the planet. It's a regressive redistribution of wealth from the working class back to the elites. Why do you think it's the people in Kooyong that back it in, but not the people in Penrith that want it? That is the exact reason for it. I think though that we are winning, and we've just got to keep going.
We will. You're outstanding, Daniel. We'll talk to you next week. There he is, Daniel Wild. He's the research director at the Institute of Public Affairs. And it's time we started listening to this sort of stuff. I'll tell you what, the rubber has hit the road. See you next week, Daniel.